Alright, hello everybody, this is Starman. Welcome back to Let's Play Fallout New Vegas. I am the Doctor. Well, I said last time I was going to sell stuff off, and sell stuff off I did. I am currently sitting at just over 20,000 caps, having unburdened myself, JT, and Eddie, and a few things I had on Willow of all of the, well, almost all of the excess ammo, armor, and everything else that we really don't need. What am I going to do with all this money, you ask? Well, first thing we're going to do...
You're back. Do you need medical attention?
...is we're going
because
to
you're a friend of
buy
the followers, I can give you a bit of a discount.
every single bit of stem packs that they've got here, which is not much, but more than we had. See if I have anything else I might consider trading off to them. I might as well sell them the plasma accelerator because it turns out it won't work with my Q37 explosive. Well, okay, Q35 matter modulator. That's not explosive. I bought that elsewhere thinking I could use it, but it turns out that I can't mod it, so... Anyway... Still a shade under 20,000, but that's more than I need for
Which
this.
Which surgery option are you considering?
Because you'll remember that we went through the options of having surgery to enhance ourselves. And we'll go and start off with endurance, because endurance is basically a freebie.
The nociception regulator modifies your cardiovascular system, and you won't tire as quickly. The price is 4,000 caps, same as most other implants. Have a seat.
Because your ability to pick up enhancements is based entirely upon your endurance, and my endurance is now 7, so I think I can get most of the implants at this point.
You're back. Do you... All right.
And of course, being a doctor, I have to get this one.
That's the Phoenix monocyte breeder. Have a seat in the... You're back. Because you're...
And yet the money I'm paying doesn't go to, Anyway.
Oh, all right.
And yes, actually...
If I implant the probability calculator in your frontal lobe, you'll be able to calculate odds a little better. It's not quite the same as making you luckier, but you'll be able to nudge things your way more often. I can do the implant for 4,000 caps. Very...
Yeah, I don't quite have the caps for that one.
Because...
I'm probably not going to be using that cat eye anytime soon. And I've hardly been using doctor's bags at all.
Because you're...
I think we'll go ahead and do agility.
The reflex booster does exactly what it says. Have it...
I'm doing alright on strength and intelligence right now, clearly. So right now, yeah, my intelligence can't get boosted much more anyway, but at that, boom. I've now spent up most of my money. We are close to level 21 from the look of it. But all above average stats, except for perception, which is average, and luck, which is below average, but that's by design. So, with that having been accomplished, and us now being a little lighter in the load, we are going to get back to the serious business of our mission from before, which was to start going to ranger stations and checking on some rather odd reports. So let's check with Link. Or Link.
Oh, Hey.
And yeah, we have that whole thing with the debt there,
Watch out for Great Khans.
which we may investigate once we get to the front gate. Let's ask the commander what the heck is going on.
Yeah?
I need to confirm your report about the Great Khans with trained Deathclaws.
You must be mistaken. I haven't filed any report like that. Trained Deathclaws? I would have remembered that. If someone is saying I filed that report, that's a load of crap. I won't have my name attached to a clerical error.
And also, Link told me her story.
Yeah, it's a damn shame. There was a lot of talk about expelling her from the Rangers, especially once the gambling and drinking started. Being posted here is her second and last chance, and so far, I'm not impressed. Link's jumpy all the time, and the others are sick of it.
Yeah, well, we know what the cause of
careful
that
out there.
is. Maybe we can get that solved later. So, okay. Now, Bravo didn't have a specific issue, but we did hear about some weirdness from them.
What's up? Careful out.
About their radio being broken. Also, there's only 2 Rangers here.
Something up? Yep.
Okay, so let's go ahead and check out things with Delta.
I know I shouldn't scavenge here, but I'm not promising anything. If I see something good, I might have to sneak it out.
Why are you still here, sir?
Oh, but they'll still call me Sir, even though she gets really ticky about me being here.
Hello.
Okay,
Yeah?
so talking about Legion super mutants.
No, I didn't. You might hear that kind of nonsense from a drunk trooper on the strip, but not from me. The Legion doesn't have super mutants. That patrol was wiped out by its own incompetence. A couple of the troopers were fooling around with a grenade when it went off.
Okay.
See you around.
Finally, that leaves us the group at Alpha.
More. Did you need something else?
Yeah, high casualties.
High casualties? We've had one broken ankle, but nobody at this post has died.
Rise's information says otherwise.
Any injury, illness, or death gets radioed to Ranger HQ at Camp Golf. Chief Hanlon and his aides compile the reports and assign reinforcements as needed. And they're not needed here.
How could Rise have been wrong?
There are other Ranger posts around. Reyes might have mixed up the report.
Or there's somebody at Golf screwing
Reyes got
around.
the numbers wrong.
Okay, we'll go ahead and head back to her first. And yeah, everything here is all sepia tone.
Welcome back.
And yep, the Ranger's version of the reports don't match what you received.
I knew it. Every one of the false reports was signed off by Chief Hanlon at Camp Golf. But why would the Chief manipulate the reports? I need you to take everything we found to Chief Hanlon and confront him with it. I don't want to make this public unless we have to. Bye.
Okay. We have not actually explored Camp Golf too much yet because I want to have Boone with us to do that part. Because occasionally stuff will get triggered here. Let's go and confront the commander first before we go talk to anyone else here. Yep, I didn't think he was in the content. He's in the big building. I'm going to save here because I just realized I haven't actually saved my game since Jacobstown.
Hello.
Yep, just more nameless rangers. Lucky 38 VIP card. Well, since taking that doesn't count as stealing.
Hey.
And Cookfire with what appears to be a photo of a very impressive looking fellow. And more rangers.
We won't go quietly. The Legion can count on that.
Yeah, Chief's actually out here on this balcony overlooking everything.
Back west, you don't see too many of these. Lakes, I mean. Natural or man-made. Any kind, really. We neglected the dams or pumped all the water out a long time ago. Owens, Isabella, the San Luis. Drained the aquifers of everything they had. Just a lot of mud and dust now. It's a different feeling watching the sun come up over the water. Takes some getting used to. But if you're here long enough, it starts to seem normal. That's what a ranger's life is now, looking east. You must be the courier folks have been talking about. Word on the radio is that someone wronged you back in Good Springs. The Mojave has a way of burning decent people up. But it sounds like you've done right by the NCR. It's appreciated. Now what can I do for you?
And we got Deer talking. I know you're the one manipulating intelligence data. Now, let's go ahead and start with the small talk. What do you know about Kaisar?
The best of the best, worst of the worst. He came out of NCR, one of the followers of the apocalypse. Like a lot of the followers, he went out in the wilderness with a partner to try to help those who needed helping. Not much different from how the Rangers used to be. Except with books and medicine instead of guns.
Where'd he go?
Out to the Grand Canyon. He met a missionary from Utah, a man by the name of Joshua Graham. Graham helped translate for the followers and the tribes. All three of them got nabbed by the Blackfoots down there, back when they were still at war with every other tribe in the Southwest.
So how did a follower wind up becoming Kaisar?
Somewhere along the way, he realized he needed to educate the Blackfoots, or they were going to get wiped out with the rest of the tribe. Showed them how to use guns, how to make explosives. Once he taught the Blackfoots a thing or two, they needed him. And he no longer needed the followers, NCR, or anyone else. He decided he could remake the tribes of the Southwest whether they wanted it or not. He became Caesar, and Joshua Graham became his legate, his right hand. And that's where Graham stayed until the Hoover Dam.
So what happened to Graham after that?
Losing the dam was the worst defeat the Legion ever suffered. Graham had been with Caesar since the beginning, but he had to set an example. The Praetorians covered Graham in pitch, lit him on fire, and down into the Grand Canyon he went.
So that was the end of Graham.
It's not that clear cut. You have to understand, Graham was the toughest son of a gun anyone around these parts had ever seen. Before Hoover, we had 5 kill reports on Graham from Rangers and 1st Recon sharpshooters who tried to take him out. Some folks think he's still alive. Call him the Burned Man.
Are the Blackfoots part of the Legion?
Yes and no. The Blackfoots don't exist anymore. Just like any other tribe that gets swallowed by the Legion. Caesar takes the tribal out of the tribe. Scrapes and burns off tattoos, breaks up families, forces mixed breeding so all the old loyalties die away. The only tribe in the Legion is the Legion. Caesar is their chief, father, and god, all rolled into one.
All right.
Shoot.
Well, tell me about yourself.
Folks around here call me the chief, but Hanlon's just fine. The Rangers run themselves pretty well, but I try to lend a hand. Mostly administrative work, helping coordinate intel on the radio. That and keeping an eye on the fires growing across the water.
Fires?
Legion fires. They burn high wherever the Legion goes. Caesar's a hard man to figure out, but he always wants you to know when more troops are at your front door.
All right, how's NCR doing?
It's no secret we've had better campaigns. Holding this whole length of river isn't easy. We're stretched thin and the long 15 just keeps getting longer. Slow to get supplies, slower to get reinforcements. NCR's Senate has got funds tied up at the boneyard. And President Kimball ordered our most experienced rangers to chase ghosts down in Baja.
Why are the funds tied up at the boneyard?
Senate elections are coming up. Local representatives don't want to push any more funding to the Mojave campaign because it's unpopular. Most of the folks around the boneyard haven't been to New Vegas and probably never will. All they know is that their money gets sucked away to this desert and their brothers, sisters, sons, and daughters die here.
What's going on in Baja?
It's complicated. Goes way back. I told President Kimball that we need more rangers here. He accepted that, but took the most experienced ones and sent them south. Patrol rangers are good men and women, but we're about to fight a war. You've seen it yourself. Some of them don't even have proper service rifles or armor. Our heavy infantry, power armor units, they're back in NCR territory protecting the interests of Brahmin barons against small-time raiders. Brahmin barons only have one vote at the ballot box, but they have a lot of money to throw around.
All right. And tell me about the Rangers.
I could tell you a lot if you had the time, but at my age, I'm not sure which of us would get tired first. What do you want to know?
How long have you been at the Rangers?
Oh, well, I guess it must be coming up on 40 years or so. Back before Elise was chief, anyway. It was a heck of a lot harder then. Weren't as many of us to go around, but I think it was a lot easier to tell the good guys from the bad.
What do the Rangers do?
Well, there's what we're supposed to be doing and what we're actually doing. There's a big gap between those two things, about as wide as that lake out there.
Okay, what are you supposed to be doing?
To protect against all forms of tyranny. As simple as that. 30, 40 years ago, the wasteland was full of despots. Slavers, raiders, tough-talking hoodlums with gangs who'd like to kick around towns. Back then, the NCR military was still young.
Yeah, it's changed a
Couldn't
lot.
cover much ground. It took groups like ours to tip the balance back to the good guys.
So what are you actually doing?
Sitting on the shore of Lake Mead, looking east. listening to a radio, trying to not get too many people killed. I'm too old to be slapping leather, but I had hoped for something else. More than this, anyway.
Why are the Rangers here?
There's a lot of answers to that question, but it started with the Ranger Unification Treaty. We weren't always the only show in town. Nevada had its own posse, the Desert Rangers. They fought Caesar even farther east out in Arizona. Years back, we met with the Desert Rangers at Mojave Outpost and agreed to help them against Caesar if they would join the NCR.
Any good stories to tell?
Suppose it depends on what you think's good. Most folks want to hear about Hoover Dam and Boulder City, but it's a long story. If you want some tall tales about hunting down slavers or busting up gangs, talk to one of the younger Rangers.
There must be some good things the Rangers have done that you're proud of.
It's kind of a long one, but all right. About 25 years ago, a group of NCR settlers pushed way south into Baja. I guess it doesn't seem so far now if you look at a map, but back then they were out of ways. They built this little shanty town around a well in the middle of nowhere. Called it Rattletail. Word got back to one of our stations that raiders had been attacking the place. I went out with 6 Rangers. We must have been on the trail for a week before we got to Rattletail. We lost one woman to night stalkers and another almost died of dehydration. When we reached the place, it's 6 shacks set up around an old well.
All right.
There's over 24 bodies lying in the dunes way outside of town, and 5 men with 308 rifles crouched behind sandbags. And these bodies, these people out in the sand, they aren't raiders, aren't even heavily armed. They're just people who were trying to get to the only well in 50 miles. I didn't have to talk to the men to see that they did not care one bit.
All right.
They had planted an NCR flag over the well, and they would not budge until every last one of them was laid out dead and cold. So I walked up and told them there was a group of raiders coming, 100 strong. I made up some cockamamie name for them and everything. The men looked at each other, looked at us, and asked me what we were going to do about it. I told them we would take them back into NCR territory because we'd already lost 10 Rangers on the way out. 10 Rangers, 5 men with 308 rifles. Well, that was enough for them. They packed up what they could and we took them back north. Last I heard, they settled somewhere in Anza Borrego. Raised bighorners. Had some tough times. It worked out okay for them. So there you go. That's my one bit of good.
So what happened at Hoover Dam and Boulder City?
In big battles, Caesar deploys his legionaries in waves. Recruits up front, prime soldiers behind the recruits, old guard bringing up the rear. Opponents wear themselves out dealing with the first 2 waves, if they survive that long. When the veterans step up, there's not much fight left. Caesar can adapt, though, and when required, he can run any mix of legionaries as skirmishers and still retain order in the ranks. Joshua Graham, Caesar's old legate, he wasn't so flexible. When the Legion attacked Hoover Dam, General Oliver ordered his troopers back to the middle ground just after first contact. Graham pushed all of the legionaries onto the dam, filling the east side with recruits up front and veterans in the back. By the book.
All right.
But once they were in, they were stuck there. Oliver's troopers were entrenched and wouldn't give a foot. That's when we ordered the Rangers and the 1st Recon sharpshooters to start picking off veteran Legion officers from a high ridge west of the dam. That only lasted about a minute before Graham ordered the back ranks to push through to the front and rush the ridge. Caused total chaos among the younger legionaries. Oliver's troopers fell back to the side walkways and stayed out of the veterans' way. By the time the veterans got to the ridge, we were already in Boulder City. They followed us down there, but we were out before they realized what was happening. We had packed the old city with C4 and dynamite. Crude, but it did the job. Those who didn't die in the blast were in no position to mount a defense. The ones left on the dam didn't know what to do. The troopers routed them. Graham pulled the remaining legionaries back, but the battle was over. He went south, back to the Grand Canyon, back to Caesar. And that was the last we saw or heard from Joshua Graham.
Yeah, okay, what's the Legion been up to?
Not too long ago, they took Nelson and Searchlight. They got some camps on the eastern shore of the Colorado, and the monstrosity on the hill across the lake. That's for Caesar. Some folks don't believe he's here yet, but you can tell. He's the eye of the storm. It all roils and spins around him. You don't have to see the man to see the effect he has.
Well, tell me about Nelson, like I don't already know.
Nelson was barely set up. We had a big stretch of unprotected land between Forlorn Hope and Searchlight, and Nelson was the solution. A Deaconess named Dead Sea took the place and caused a lot of damage. By the way, I appreciate what you did for the troopers down there. Nelson might not be the most strategically important place, but taking Dead Sea out means a lot to them.
Well, at least word of that got around.
Searchlight was worse. One of Caesar's Frumentari must have found something in there. Flooded the whole camp with radiation.
Alright, well,
Shoot.
we've done all the small talk. Time to take this charming old soldier we've been gabbing with for nearly 15 minutes and do some accusing.
Interesting that she would wrangle someone else into sorting out the problem. But I suppose you're in the right place. A lot of intel comes through here.
How do you coordinate your intel?
It's a simple system when it works. Patrol rangers radio intel to ranger stations. Comm rangers send the intel up the station chain until it reaches Camp Gulf. Then I or one of the other rangers on duty organize the data, evaluate it, and send information to camps or troopers in the field.
Let's see. Why don't the ranger stations send intel directly to the troopers?
Comm rangers might have an incomplete picture of the situation. There's a lot going on out there. Intel needs to be coordinated through Gulf so we can verify and advise appropriately. Troopers have enough to deal with. We don't want them questioning their intel.
Do you know anything about the problems?
I don't know, Technical Sergeant Reyes, but coordinating intel can be messy sometimes. Things get mixed up, people get confused. Heck, I get confused, and I've been doing this for a long time now. What he or she sees as a problem might be standard operating procedure. That's not to say Reyes is wrong for being concerned, but it's easy for the sand to get in your eyes out here.
And one of your people believe that the bikers in the Red Canyon area have trained Deathclaws.
Well, the logical thing to do is to check with the patrol rangers and comm officers. Don't be too discouraged if some things don't match up. Different people see different things, and sometimes the meaning gets twisted, lost in static from person to person.
Or we have a complete jackass
Shoot.
making stuff up.
Shoot.
Oh, what the heck?
Hold on. If we're gonna have this conversation, let's go somewhere more private. Don't worry, not much bite left in this old dog.
Yeah, I'm not sure how we can get much more private than the balcony. But yeah, I've got 4 good people. Well, 1 man, 1 woman, 1 robot, and 1 dog with me.
Sorting and manipulating intelligence is what I do. It's what Rangers are supposed to do. This job isn't all gunfighting and gulping shots of whiskey, no matter what the boys and ladies out there say.
But you're inventing your own intelligence reports. I've seen the logs and talked to the Rangers.
You have you? Misdirection. When you're pinned down, outnumbered, and 2 days from any help, it's just about the best friend you can have. Misdirection's what saved me all these years. It's what saved us at Hoover Dam. But it's been 5 years now, and Caesar's right across that lake. He's closer now than he ever was before. I was a young man once. I know what it's like to want to fight for your home. But this isn't it.
Why did you do it?
It's never gonna end. This fight with Caesar. People back home don't know what these young men and women are in for. The Legion is the worst enemy we've ever faced. But we can't stop Caesar here. Not without getting a lot of good people killed. More than anyone cares to count up. But even if we do stop him, I don't see how we're ever gonna be able to pull out.
How does spreading false intel help anything?
People back home don't listen. They don't care. Senators, Brahmin barons, folks who are just trying to make it from day to day. It's been so many years that people forget about it. Conscription brings in fresh troops that die here every month, like it's routine. And even if we hold this dam, what then? Are we gonna send the NCR's men and women to die here for another 5 years? 10? Patrol the whole length of the Colorado for hundreds of miles? Holding this dam, it'll be the death of us.
What does that accomplish?
Creating fear and instability among the troopers without causing harm. It's the only thing I could think of to shake things up. It took some people getting killed to realize I'd gone too far. I had to stop. We're fighting on their behalf, but Mr. House and the families are stringing us up inch by inch. They'll drain us dry while we fight and die over this dam. We offered them sanctuary in NCR territory before, but they won't listen. Troopers and Rangers have been dying here for more than 5 years while the families sit pretty behind that damn wall. First thing that comes to mind is to turn me in. But that might not be the best play, all things considered. Even if your heart's in the right place, I reckon it might do a lot more harm than good.
What do you do if I don't turn you in?
Oliver can't stand that Rangers got credit for victory at Hoover. Whatever I recommend, he does the opposite. I said I wanted us on the ridge. He put them right on the western part of the dam itself. We don't have enough firepower to hold that spot. If the troopers fall back, and they will, the Rangers will advance to cover Oliver's retreat. We lose the dam. Oliver and the Senator are ruined.
What about you and the Rangers?
Rangers are volunteers. Every man and woman who signs up is willing to die for the NCR, myself included. A lot of this is my fault. It's only right that I stand with them.
That's crazy.
Maybe 50 Rangers will die on that dam. We lose over 1,000 troopers every year. Being here is crazy. Getting out's the only sane thing to do.
Well, I can turn him in, kill him myself. I mean, I can't say that he's wrong, but he's still got a whole bunch of people killed.
Fair enough. You want to do this the right way, go get one of the Rangers. Don't worry, I'm not going to run out on you.
Hey.
Rangers, this is the chief. I know I can ramble on sometimes, but I need you to listen close for the next minute or so. I've got some bad news.
You should talk to
I
Chief
messed
Henry
up.
if you have any questions.
Made a
He's usually
mistake.
up on the balcony.
I thought I could help us get out of here, but it didn't work out.
Looks like we booted the Legion out of Nelson. About damn time. Haven't had any reports from Station Charlie in a while. Hope everything's okay.
Rangers get injured all the time. It's part of the job. But if you lose a few fingers, get a bad break, that's it. You step down.
Don't tell the truth.
We rely on each other
Way
to
better than the
let
rest.
our infirmities become a liability. The Ranger knows when it's time. Only I didn't.
We won't go quietly. The Legion can count on that.
Got another teddy bear for Willow.
Somewhere along the way, something broke inside me. I couldn't find us way out of this desert. I wrestled with it, and it took me down a dark road. I wish I could explain it to you. The old chief's finally at a loss for words. Send me all the Legion you can. I'll be waiting for it.
That shot came from the Chief's office. Chief, why did you do it? Don't tell the troopers, but the grub here is way better than the mess team. Looks like we booted the Legion out of Nelson. About damn time. Don't tell the troopers, but the grub here is way better than the mess team. Haven't had any reports from Station Charlie in a while.
So, yeah.
Hope everything's okay.
That just left us with,
Rangers, this is the chief. I know I can ramble on sometimes, but I need you to listen close for the next minute or so. I've got some bad news. I messed up.
yeah, we can hear it better
Made
on
a
this
mistake.
one.
I thought I could help us get out of here, but it didn't work out. Rangers get injured all the time. It's part of the job. But if you lose a few fingers, get a bad break, that's it. You step down. We rely on each other too much to let our infirmities become a liability. The Ranger knows when it's time. Only I didn't. Somewhere along the way, something broke inside me. I couldn't find us a way out of this desert. I wrestled with it, and it took me down a dark road. I wish I could explain it to you. The old chief's finally at a loss for words. Send me all the Legion you can. I'll be waiting for it.
Well, didn't have anything. Quest is over. But I kind of want to see what Reyes has to say about this, because... darn it. I am the doctor. I am honest.
Hey, what did Chief Hanlon have to say about those false reports we uncovered?
He was the one sending out false reports. He killed himself rather than turn himself in.
What? Chief Hanlon? The man's a war hero. Why would he... That just doesn't make sense. This is awful. Welcome back.
Well, she recovered
I handled
quickly
things
enough.
unofficially. Bye.
So, yeah. Truth be told, I've never done this quest before, any playthrough I've done, so I'm not sure exactly what the consequences are going to be here.
What is it?
But Boone is still willing to talk to me, so that's a good sign.
Yeah.
And Willow,
What's up?
also not having anything specific to say. So we will go ahead and stop here, and next time, well, we will move on as best we can. Thanks for sticking it out through a longer than usual chapter. See you next time.